You're listening to Flying Casual, a Star Wars podcast. Here's your host, Michael Canterbury.
Ooh. It's a little late for a dance party on a Sunday night, but that's
8:30?
okay. Well, it's a work night.
When you're in your mid-30s.
Whoa, let's not. Wow, you just jumped, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. That hurts.
Sorry.
Mid-30s. You're not even in your 30s. You don't even understand. Folks, welcome to episode 3. We're flying casual. Just Holly and I today.
Mm-hmm.
Just you and I today.
Just us.
Luke couldn't make it. He's not with us. In spirit, he's with us.
Yeah.
He did not pass. I will assure you all of that. But he is with us in spirit.
No Luke Force Ghost that will...
Well, he might. You never know. He might just show up and come down.
Come right down here.
He has a key. It's under the mat. He knows that.
He's on the couch with Chewie.
He might be. No, Chewie's on my feet.
Well, Luke's not there.
Luke. Yeah, he's not there. But, friends, welcome. Episode 3. Happy post Triple Force Friday. Holly, did you go get any good merch, or did you go for a haul?
I didn't, because I went to work on Friday.
You went to work on Friday. Okay, that
But
feels
you
like a
didn't.
subtle slam. Is that a subtle slam?
Did you take Friday off just to go shopping?
I didn't. Funny story. So 2 days, that was at Wednesday, I get a text from my dentist saying, "Hey, remember you have an appointment Friday?" I was like, "Oh, that's a surprise, first of all. And oh, by the way, you made it at 9 a.m. Well, that's also a surprise because I never make appointments that early. So I don't know what happened. I blacked out apparently when I made that appointment. But so
It
I was
was
like,
a Sith plot.
it was a Sith plot. So, my dentist is about an hour away because, I like to go back home and see the family, and I really love my dentist. So I still go back home to the dentist. And so I was like, let's just take the day off. On my way there, I don't know how I forgot this because you guys know that I'm a big collector of those 6-inch Black Series figures.
You are?
Yes, they dominate my life. So I had just kind of forgot that it was Triple Force Friday, and I don't even know what kind of spawned it. I don't know, because I haven't purchased any 6-inch figures in a while. It's been a couple waves back. I think I had a wholesale deal where I got like 6 of them or something. Here's $100 and some, whatever. So I was just like, you know what? After the dentist, I'm going to hit up the old Walmart back in my small hometown and see if they got anything. And boy, they did. And I actually met a fellow collector there, which was very surprising because I don't think there are many Star Wars collectors back in my hometown. But so I made it a little impromptu haul. Cut myself off at 2 figures. I don't know if you guys, you probably already saw we posted that, but got myself a little second sister action. Which I'm sure if you've kind of been checking out the internet, you've probably already seen her, but that was a complete surprise to me. I knew we were getting some of this other stuff, but not the second sister, so I totally picked her up as well, and I got myself the Mandalorian. Now, that's a hot item right there, Holly.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're jealous.
I think you had to fight someone in Walmart for it.
Well, he was a nice older gentleman, and I felt really bad because he was looking for the 3 3/4 Boba Fett.
But Michael swooped right in, grabbed it from his hands, and ran away.
I didn't know. There were no 3 3/4 Bobas left.
But I told him, I said, hey, there might be another 6-inch, Mando over there. You're pretty much getting the Boba Fett from the holiday special. And he went and looked, and he's like, I think you got the last one, and I just sprinted away. No, there's a lot more cordial than I was like, sorry to hear that, but this is mine. So got my figures, I capped myself at $40. I've got to stop.
There has to be a period where you stop. But I just couldn't help myself this time. So little impromptu haul. I hope you guys got some good stuff out there. I went down the rabbit hole of getting on YouTube and watching all the haul videos. I don't know if anyone else does it. Holly, do you do that?
Like an unboxing video?
They're not unboxings, no. It's a haul. You go to the store, you grab your merch, you come back, you show everyone it. Sometimes they unbox them. The crazy people unbox them. I'm kidding. A good buddy, Andrew Fantasia, he unboxes his, and it's fantastic because he has them all set up, and they're epic, and it's fantastic. I just don't trust myself enough, and, I hope one day maybe I'll make big money off of them. Probably won't. But you guys that unbox your 6 figures, I commend you for that. That takes a lot of nerve. But hope you guys got some stuff posted in the Facebook group if you got anything cool. I know some people had to work. Slam on you, Holly.
Yep.
A lot of you guys had to work out there, and you probably, unlike us crazy folks, you put in a hard, day at work and then tried to go to your local Target or Walmart and everything was bought out. Really sorry about that. Really sorry about that. I participated in that and I feel really bad. So I hope y'all had a good Triple Force Friday. I'm sure they'll restock those figures soon. And you'll get yours as well. So Triple Force Friday happened this weekend. Also, New York Comic-Con happened. Not, a ton of huge Star Wars reveals. I mean, because we're couple months out now from Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. We're a couple months out. They're not going to be dropping too much of this late in the game because if the past shows us anything with this sequel trilogy, 2 months in we start getting another big trailer. So that's got to be coming up soon. So there wasn't anything really big revealed. There were quite a few novels revealed. We got another Alphabet Squadron novel, another Vader line's coming, which I'm really excited about. They're bringing back the main Star Wars line, which will likely be around the Empire Strikes Back timeline, and kind of filling in some gaps there between, I think, 5 and 6. So that'll be really exciting to finally get to actually pick that up from the beginning and start that and do reviews of that. So I'm really excited about that. Same with the Vader line as well. A big one, though. I know Holly doesn't know a whole lot about Thrawn, so we won't go into too deep of discussion about Thrawn. But I was kind of shocked to hear they're releasing another Thrawn trilogy, the Ascendancy trilogy. So those of you know about Thrawn and you've read, the older series from the 90s, you've probably also even read the new trilogy as well. The new trilogy honestly didn't capture me as much as I had hoped. I really enjoyed the first one, and the second one really just fell short for me. The third one kind of brought it home nicely, but I wasn't blown away by the trilogy, which is kind of crazy because everyone is a huge fan of Timothy Zahn. I know I am. I'm a huge fan of that original trilogy of his from the 90s in the Thrawn series, but this one really just didn't capture me like that one. So, and I know a lot of people feel differently, and I'm sure they're, super pumped about this, and I am as well. I'm just kind of shocked that they're doing another Thrawn trilogy, this time going back and casting some light on his origins in the Chiss Ascendancy. So that should, at least that's what we think. That should be pretty interesting. We got a little hint of not his origins, but kind of how he was introduced to the Empire in the first, or in this new trilogy that we've just finished up. But it's going to be interesting to hear about his role in the Ascendancy and how he got to, where he eventually left them. But so that's kind of fascinating. And I know a lot of you are really excited about that news, as am I. We actually got an awesome email from a longtime listener, Brent. Really happy to hear from him again. And he also is one of those guys that has really awesome, in-depth, sweaty theories, and that's why I love to read them. Sometimes they're thick and they're juicy and they're hard to read sometimes, especially when Holly's going to take a shot at this one and she's like, what, the Chiss? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Hey, you know what? Not everybody knows that.
That's right. And
there are some newbies to Star Wars that could be listening who don't
right.
have the background.
And that's why I'm excited that you're going to take a jab at this one. And maybe you guys will open our eyes to Thrawn a little bit, but it's good to hear from Brent again, and he's got some theories with the release of this news, and I tend to agree with him on a lot of this. So we're going to go ahead and just read that. Holly, you got this one?
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. So Brent said, "Hi, Michael. Glad you got the new podcast going. The first few episodes have been really good. Now, while this is the Flying Casual podcast, you may want to strap in because things could get a little weird."
Phrasing.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to start with a little Rise of Skywalker prediction. Spoilers ahead for some of the books.
Come on.
We were warned about the spoilers.
That's right.
I recently reread Thrawn Alliances, the one with him and Vader.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start by saying that Thrawn is one of the Chiss's rare Force-sensitive males.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I pronounced it right that time.
You got it.
Thrawn tells Vader that Force sensitivity in the Chiss comes in the form of precognition, and the power lessens with age. The Chiss use this power to navigate the unstable hyperspace lanes in the unknown regions. He also tells him that the gift is found predominantly in females, but occasionally in males. When Anakin first meets Thrawn, and tries to read his thoughts, he describes it as something he has not experienced before, like an organized flowing of information. When Vader rescues the Force-sensitive Chiss children, he describes their thoughts the same way. I think this confirms that he is Force-sensitive, but it is not obvious since the two descriptions are separated by more than half the book. This explains Thrawn's tactical genius and how he would have the knowledge of the hyperspace routes through the unknown region to offer the Emperor in the first book of the new trilogy. This leaves Thrawn still sensitive to the Force, but not enough to navigate the ship through hyperspace as Vader and Chiss children do. Thrawn continues to tell Vader that the transition of the Chiss title these Force navigators are given is Skywalker.
Yes, they are skywalking through space.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so fast forward to the Rise of Skywalker. In the D23 trailer, we see a fleet of Star Destroyers. These are Imperial Star Destroyers, not First Order vessels. Everything about the First Order has been bigger than the Empire, Starkiller Base, and even Kylo's flagship make Vader's SSD, the Executor, look like a bath toy.
It's like his starship.
The new images released with Triple Force Friday seem to confirm that these are not First Order ships. So also, Brent attached an image. We'll post this for you guys to see as well. But you can look up Attack of the Imperial Fleet. Now, who do we know that survived the collapse of the Empire and would have the power to command an Imperial fleet? Admiral Sloane delivered Hux to part of the Imperial fleet as part of the contingency plan from the Aftermath series. But we know that this group led the formation of the First Order. That only leaves Thrawn, who rode the space whales through hyperspace, to who knows where, with Ezra Bridger, who is conveniently a Jedi and would be capable of navigating through hyperspace if needed.
Brett, I love this so much because just when he's just like, you know what? I know what you're thinking. Thrawn, he's not able to navigate, through the hyperspace lanes. He's not that force sensitive, or maybe he's not that force sensitive at all. But you know who was with him? Ezra Bridger, and they're tag teaming and they're navigating those. I love it. Okay, sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but wait, there's more. Now, what if there are multiple Skywalkers to rise in the new movie, which I think we have said before? Agreed. Yep. Luke, Anakin, and then also Thrawn and Ezra in his new capacity of Force Navigator with the Imperial fleet to assist the Resistance in defeating the First Order.
Yeah.
It's kind of out there, but not unlikely.
Not unlikely.
But Disney made it a point to let people know the new books are canon, so the plots within them should be important. This also conveniently leads to the newly announced Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy that comes out in May of 2020. Brent says, I have no idea what the basis for the trilogy is, but it could explain what Thrawn and Ezra have been doing since they disappeared and how their appearance in The Rise of Skywalker makes sense. May the Force be with you, Brent.
Brent, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for sending that. And guys, continue to send those emails. We want to read them live or a voicemail, whatever however you want to get us, that message, get it to us, and we'll kind of break it down and talk about it as much as we can. But really the point is to get it to you guys as well, so we can talk about it in the Facebook group, and the more perspectives, the better. So there's a lot to unpack there. I really love, like I said, I love that he's making those connections and saying, maybe Ezra could be doing the navigating through hyperspace. That's fantastic. And he discloses there at the end that he doesn't really know what this new Ascendancy trilogy is going to be about. So maybe this could kind of be about that. And that would be fantastic. It doesn't really seem like that's where they're going. It seems like they want to talk about Thrawn's backstory. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it didn't happen. But I was one of those people that read Aftermath when it came out, the whole trilogy there, and thought it was epic. The end with the contingency plan, and the Emperor was planning for something, in case things went awry. It almost seemed like he knew what he had created wasn't going to last, and then there was going to be something else that he was going to bank on. And he had a lot of people out there kind of planning this and initiating it and things like that. So I was one of those people that after watching The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi was just like, okay, so where is this contingency plan? Like, what is it? Are we ever going to learn about it? Was that just kind of a missed opportunity there with Chuck Wendig? And I was so, and then Chuck Wendig left Disney, not Disney, but he stopped writing for Disney.
Wait, so
yeah.
we don't know what the contingency plan
Not
was?
really. So I mean, there's elements there that the book kind of unleashes that, you know, this Admiral Sloane that he's referring to kind of goes off into the unknown regions with it's been so long now. It was some starship of the Empires.
Everybody listening is like, this is the
There's
name
just-
of the
this is it.
starship.
It's like I didn't do any work on this because I didn't even get to read all of
Michael
Brent's
doesn't
email.
research.
Michael doesn't do his research, but
He
this
does.
is just kind of vaguely. So they're out there. Admiral Sloane kind of goes off into the unknown regions, and whatever it is they did out there began this first order, so to speak.
And that's where it leaves off.
That's where it leads off, and then so I also need to get Holly caught up on Rebels because spoiler alert. I mean, there were some spoilers there for the Aftermath series, but here's some more spoilers for Rebels if you haven't read it. So towards the end of Rebels, that series ends, and Thrawn is shot into the unknown regions, I think we presume, and Ezra Bridger was with him. They got on some space whales.
That is a
and
major spoiler, yeah.
It's a major spoiler. So we
I feel
don't
like
know.
I don't have to watch it now.
Well, no, you have to. So Ezra Bridger, his fate is unknown, and so is Thrawn's. But we do know that Ahsoka and oh my God, why am I Sabine Wren? Forgot her name there for a second. Go off and look for them, or at least look for Ezra. So Brent's theory is that, you know, Thrawn and Ezra kind of tag team. Something maybe with, you know, we know that Thrawn, you know, serves the Emperor, he serves the Empire, but really he'll never turn his back on his home, his Chiss ascendancy. He'll never do anything that's going to jeopardize their well-being. At least we think. So maybe something happens and Thrawn and Ezra get together in the unknown regions. Who knows? But what I love what he's saying is that they come back together and he brings with him this fleet of Star Destroyers that we see in the trailer. And we've seen some of the artwork that's been kind of released. We see those starships are very clearly old Imperial starships. So are they just like, is it just a vision, you know, of the past, or is it actually these starships showing up? That's yet to be known. But wouldn't that be cool if he got this fleet together and that's what's backing this new resistance, and this is how they're actually able and capable of fighting the First Order? And you know, that may seem kind of far-fetched, but you know what, like I could totally see it happening. I mean, that could be the mind-blowing like piece that JJ was talking about. Like you guys who read the story or read the books and novels, you guys that read the comics, you guys that watch Rebels, you're going to get rewarded here because we're going to tie this in all together. I really think that's a huge possibility. I didn't so much think about it, you know, before. Kind of felt like this series is going in a different direction, but then when the Emperor's back, anything's possible.
Listen, this is a galaxy far, far away. Anything could happen.
Yeah,
Michael.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And then I mean that's just proven that you know, the Emperor's back, and it seems like he's back, like actually back. This isn't just a Force ghost.
Yeah.
This looks like the Emperor's back, especially.
And who saw that coming?
I did not.
Well,
now there's a lot of people that did, and that's awesome for them. I just didn't see this series going in that direction. But now I'm just like, who knows? Maybe Thrawn turns his back on the Emperor. Maybe he does team up with Ezra Bridger, and we would see Ezra Bridger, an older Ezra Bridger, maybe in the flesh, in the cinema.
like also like
fantastic.
live action.
That would be fantastic.
So
and
different.
then maybe who knows? Ahsoka comes out and everyone just it's an ultimate just heroes versus villains moment. That would be fantastic. I do think that would take away from Rey's moment a little bit, which, you know, has been an issue of mine in the past. But so who knows? I at this point, Brent, I think that's absolutely possible. And we've seen Thrawn really befriending, you know, Eli Vanto when he joins the Empire, and why couldn't he? He's a sneaky guy.
There's a purpose there, befriending these people. He actually, I think, believes in them, and I'm sure that he admires Ezra Bridger for how much he's eluded him in Rebels, and at the end really coming to a head, and I'm sure there's some admiration there, just like he admired Eli Vanto and kind of takes him under his wing and then kind of shows him the ropes. So I don't think it's that far-fetched.
I think it's fantastic, and that's just there. That's another direction that I don't think a lot of people are making those connections, and the navigating the hyperspace lanes. And I never even made the connection that maybe he says, hey, Ezra, we got to get out of the unknown regions, and here's how these people use the Force with the Chiss, and maybe that's something you could tap into. We actually see Vader do it, and I think Brent kind of talks about this a little bit, but we see Vader kind of do that same thing. They need someone in that moment to really navigate this vessel that they're using, and Vader does it. It's a very vulnerable moment for Vader that we don't see too often. We've seen it a little bit in the comics, but we don't really see that vulnerable Vader there. And it to me, it was just like he was a little nervous to do it, a little scared. So that was fantastic. So who knows? Who knows? It's a fantastic theory, Brent, and I can't wait to hear more. And hopefully you guys in the Facebook group are listening now and you're talking about it, because it's awesome. Maybe he'll even post it there for you guys to read, because it is thick. It's dense, and it helps to kind of read through it, because I was going to try to listen. I was like, nah, I've got to read it just in case you don't pronounce something correctly.
Oh my God.
But that's okay.
I also want to say,
yeah, come on,
related to his email, I really like how he said, what if there are multiple Skywalkers to rise in the new movie? Because I think you and I have talked about this before, just not on this podcast, which I think maybe we could do a future episode and include this in there. Yeah. Like who is actually rising? Who's doing the rising? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But who is it? Is it like a true Skywalker, like the bloodline, or is it, like Brent said, like the Skywalkers? Yeah.
Yeah, it could, who knows? I don't know. The skywalking, my understanding, the original idea of skywalking and Skywalker was kind of that balance between the light and the darkness, and that seems to be the theme in this book, or in this last installment. And there's so many great articles out there that make the connection. There was a recent one that I just read that really shows that Rey and Kylo really embody Anakin Skywalker. The good and the bad in him really come together, and you see the connection so much. And I never really broke it down like that. And just like their upbringing and the things that they've done, the bad things that they've done and the good things that they've done, and really, distinguishing Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader, and how both Rey and Kylo embody both of them.
And part of two halves of the same protagonist.
The same protagonist. That was the article. I believe that was the title of the article. That was a fantastic article. Do you know who happened to read that?
Let me find it. It was. Oh God. Okay, I'm so sorry. That's okay. Here we go again with the pronunciation.
Ooh, there it is.
B. Kaikoya. I don't know. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong. We can post a link to the article, and you guys can read it though, because it really is interesting.
Yeah, it's from Comic Book Resources, titled "Star Wars is Rey an Embodiment of the Force like Anakin was," and so it makes some really awesome connections. And I actually sent it to Holly. I said, you need to read this because it's fantastic. So who knows? I really think we absolutely could do another episode and talk about the Skywalker and what it means. And I want to get Luke in here on that one too, because that boy will just chip away at that and really break it down in ways that I never, ever, ever would have thought to do. So we're going to definitely talk about this more. This isn't even what I wanted to talk about today. I forgot to tell everyone in the beginning. This isn't even what I want to talk about today. It's fantastic because Brent hit us up with that. I was like, absolutely. There's a lot I want to talk about with Thrawn. I really need to talk about it with someone that's read those books.
It's not me.
Not Holly, but no offense to Holly there, because she knows a lot about Star Wars. And that's why I wanted to touch on a topic that we've talked about before, back with Rebel Watch. And and that's Reylo. It seems to me we have very strong opinions on Reylo. Isn't that right, Holly?
We do. Yeah.
You especially.
Yeah.
Your passion for that discussion is what prompted me to record it. I don't know, a year ago.
Yeah.
Now it was a long time ago.
It was a while back.
It was after The Last Jedi, and Reylo was hot and heavy, was it not?
Well, I guess it depends on what you mean by hot and heavy.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, interpret it differently, but the people were out there theorizing about it, and to a lot of people, Reylo was confirmed, and that in their minds, that's fantastic. Now, I disagree. I really don't, at least I'll hold it for a second.
Yeah.
I don't want to give to my current thoughts on too much, but so we recorded a Patreon episode back in the day for Rebel Watch. And I thought it was so fascinating when I went back and listened to it back in the time that I was like, you know what, maybe we need to release this, outside of Patreon. We never did. So only, a select few people got to even hear it. I'm sure we're not breaking, ground here that no one has, but I thought it was really fascinating. Just a casual conversation on the couch. And we just kind of really broke into it. We actually missed the first opportunity to record that discussion because I don't know where we were, but we didn't have any equipment. I'm like, this is one of those moments where I should always have a recording device in my car. So we actually didn't get to capture it in that moment, but we did the following evening. And so I kind of wanted, while it's just me and Holly, to have a Reylo revisited moment because we feel very passionately about it. And I know a lot of people do in similar ways and in different ways. And so I thought, you know what, it's been, I don't know how many months now. And there's new, products coming out. There's new news about Star Wars. There's new images for the Rise of Skywalker movie that some people are like, haha, that's Reylo right there. So I thought I want you guys to hear this. So what I want to do is I want to play that clip. It's 20 some minutes, so stick with it. We'll definitely let you know when we're in present time, because you may get confused. But I want to play that for you guys, and I want to see, I want you guys to hear our thoughts back then, and then hear them now, and then I want to hear what you guys think about Reylo. It's not something that the group talks about much, but I did post a few days ago and say, hey guys, thinking about doing this Reylo revisited topic. What do you guys think? And a lot of people in their group aren't big fans of Reylo. There's some out there, but a lot of them aren't. And so some of their responses didn't surprise me. But I want more conversation about it because it's such a popular topic. I think it's warranted. So Holly, if you don't mind, I wish I had a great sound effect for it. Kind of a glistening sound effect.
You have the harp.
Do I have a harp?
The
I don't
yellow
think
one?
that's not a harp, is it? I'm pretty sure that's not a harp. That's cheering. You got it wrong.
Well,
you got it
I
wrong.
mean,
Yeah, I don't think it was cheering.
Was it this one? No, that's the joke one. So they're in there somewhere.
Definitely not
Definitely
that
not
one.
that one. This is maybe the last one.
There is.
That's the one. So we're going to go ahead, folks, and we're going to take you back, I don't know, 2018 at some point.
Way back.
So take a listen.
Well, we're going to give this a shot, Holly. We've already noticed that you're not very good at holding the microphone to your face. So if you hear Holly trailing off at any point, it's because
I'm traveling through space.
Well, I was going to say flailing your hands.
There's no.
Or traveling through space. Aren't they the same?
Maybe.
So last night, I was editing an episode of Rebel Watch, right? And the topic of Reylo came up. And I got upset. And you said, well, let's talk about it. And we get about 10 minutes in the conversation, and I'm like, why aren't we recording this?
I think I said, why aren't we recording this?
Yeah, that's how it went. And so I think it was just a period of laziness, and I was like, we'll do it tomorrow. I regret that immediately.
This was actually 2 days ago.
Was it 2 days ago now?
Yeah.
I have no concept of time. But now we're on the couch. You might fall asleep. We'll see what happens. But we were talking about Reylo.
Hot topic.
I
Deep
mean-
subject.
it still is a hot topic. It is also a sensitive subject. But I noticed something in listening to Grace that she has a real love for this Reylo concept, as do many, I would say, of the younger crowd. Right? Is that something that we
Yeah.
agree on?
I don't know if it's necessarily the younger crowd.
Is it not?
I don't know.
Of the people I know, it seems that.
That's fair.
But so we just started talking, and you and I see eye to eye on this whole situation, and that's why I want to talk about it, because this is going to be unpopular. It's why it's going on Patreon. It's not going on the web yet, unless I'm like, you know what, this needs to be out there.
Yeah, people need to hear this.
It's just, but it's funny though, because Reylo was so popular, but now I think people are really starting to come to their senses.
Well, Reylo might have been popular when we saw The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
But then you watch The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
and-
But that's the thing though. The Last Jedi is fueling Reylo fans. You would think it would do we think it would do just the opposite, right? So I'll give you, The Force Awakens happens and people talk about this Shakespearean, romance going on. Cool. I'll bite it. Great.
I didn't even.
I didn't either, but they picked up on it. Cool. I'll give them that. I can see what they're referring to. Cool. Got it. And then The Last Jedi happens. And this is where you and I steer off course from everyone. At least the Reylo fans, because for them, that movie pretty much substantiated what they thought, and they think Episode 9 will be a romance between Ben and Rey.
It's just disturbing.
It is disturbing.
It's disturbing.
And why is it disturbing?
There is nothing good about those two people being in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
He is. What did we say? What did I say the other night? He is a terrible person. He's a mass manipulator.
Yeah.
He's abusive.
Yeah.
He's awful.
Yeah.
I don't really think that you need to get too much further than saying that somebody's manipulative to say, yeah, maybe we should not want some girl to be in a relationship with him.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about some girl.
This isn't even like our daughter or something. Like
we're talking about Rey.
We're talking about Rey.
Who's being set up to be this very powerful person in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Why can't we just let her be a powerful person? And why can't we just let Kylo be a terrible person?
I agree wholeheartedly. And it's funny because people, I don't know, people aren't thinking about it in the context that you're thinking about it, like a very real world look at like the way he's treated her. Like, why would anyone want that? Why should she want that? And my point of view is like, that moment has passed. Like, The Last Jedi, that moment passed. They had a moment, it was great, and it was over.
But I don't even think that they had a moment. I mean,
there was a moment.
Not in the way that everyone's interpreting it.
A sexual moment.
No, I don't think
You don't think that was okay?
I absolutely do not. Not everything has to be a sexual moment.
Okay.
You can have a strong female lead and you can have a strong male antagonist. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that what he is? And they don't have to get together. They just don't.
They don't. Well,
Okay.
So the Last Jedi novel, though, does allude to it being more of a romantic, intimate moment, in that Luke references, and when he calls her out there towards the end of the movie, he says, what are you gonna do? You're following you're following a pretty set of eyes, or I can't remember what he says, but he alludes to her being like romantically interested in him. So there was some sort of connection there.
Okay.
But that's gone. I'm sorry. It's over. They fought. They had a moment that they could have joined forces.
Maybe
and they
this is
didn't.
just me as a female. I did not take
Did you pick up on it?
No, I didn't take it like that.
Okay.
I just didn't.
Yeah. I mean, that's okay. I mean, I'm on board. Yeah, I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. I said this on the last podcast after we went and watched Captain Marvel. And it was great. Right?
It was great.
She whooped a lot of ass. And there was no love interest whatsoever. It was great.
It was great.
Yeah, I don't know. You're super silent. Are you falling asleep?
No, I just think that on a deeper level, something that people love so much about Star Wars is that it is so representative of real life things that people experience every day. And there are so many different characters, and there's just everybody has somebody in Star Wars that they identify with. And for a lot of younger girls right now, that's Rey.
Yeah.
And to have her be a role model for girls and then suddenly start going down this path where she's falling in love or getting in a romantic relationship with this terrible, abusive, manipulative man, I think that it is a terrible thing for these girls to see.
Yeah.
And it's setting the standard that those are okay things and that you can still be this strong girl, but like tiptoe around this maniacal man. I don't know. I just think that it's all bad.
Well, the Force is female, Holly. Okay.
That's true.
We learned that from Kathleen Kennedy. It's female. It's all female. So maybe this is just some Disney, left-wing strategy to trick everyone into thinking that it's okay, and then they're going to, show everyone that it's not okay. Who knows? I don't know.
That's still a terrible plan.
Terrible plan, and they won't do it. No, it's just
disappointing.
If you look at the things that Ben Solo has done, I mean, we don't know a whole lot about Rey, but Rey is pretty innocent. It doesn't seem like Rey has, killed anybody, really. I mean, well, she shoots some stormtroopers.
Yeah.
That happens. But if you think about what Ben Solo has done, I mean, one of the biggest, most terrible thing that he's ever done is kill his father. And Rey witnesses that. There's no, I heard you did. Like, she watched him do it. He was defenseless. She watched him murder his father. She also watched Ben Solo attempt to kill her new best friend, Finn, in the woods. And he's also attempted to kill her on the ship at the end of Last Jedi. He also says to Luke Skywalker, I will destroy her. I will destroy it all. And he may very well be even lying to her. We may learn that in episode 9 about her heritage and her parents. We don't know. He doesn't have a good track record with her. He had a moment where he was asking her to join him, and it seemed like things could come together, and she's like, no, like you're just evil. Don't go. Don't do that. And he does. He chooses evil, and she does not. And that's just it. Plain and simple. They are not going to get together.
Also, like, if you think about this, the Force is all about balance, and you always have to have that good character and that evil character, and that's just how they are. And so it would tip the scales, even if even if Kylo even has like a redemption moment, then who's the next character that would even step in to balance back out the evil side? And also, how many times can you watch somebody be a horrible person before you just admit they're just a bad person? I am a strong believer that people can change, but it's also a movie, and like not everybody can change. Some people are just bad, and so just let him be a bad character and stop wanting this romance.
Well, that's the thing. You say it's a movie. It's a 3-part series, and we've already seen this happen in the second to last installment. So what are we just gonna repeat that moment? Like, we're going to go back to where there's all this tension, and maybe they'll get together. Maybe they won't, like, get over it all. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Also, if I wanted to watch a movie where a girl falls in love with
Twilight.
a boy, no, I wouldn't watch that. I would watch a Nicholas Sparks movie.
I'm pretty sure we actually just watched Twilight the other day, so spoiler alert.
I'm sorry, is this the Twilight podcast or is this the Star Wars podcast? It's both.
Breaking Dawn at midnight is what I'm thinking of creating a new podcast. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Cullens Awaken.
Wow. The Cullens Awakening or the...
I don't know.
That actually sounds sexual. I've got to be honest. No, but right, like that would just be a repeat, would it not? Like,
and
we're
it
gonna
gets
waste.
old. It gets boring.
Well, think of this. We're talking about the last. I'm just taking them at their word. The last Skywalker installment, and we are going to pat around with this maybe relationship. No, it needs to be an epic battle. The good needs to fight the evil, and the evil needs to be defeated. That's just it. He can be redeemed. He can whatever.
I don't even want him to be redeemed.
I don't either. But if there's a moment where he does something cool, whatever. But like, evil just needs to die. And I'm telling you right now, if this is the true Skywalker end, Ben Solo's gotta go. It's gotta be him in the end, dark, and that's fine. And it could say, wow, man, the Skywalkers were so powerful. And, they walked in the light, they walked in the dark, and ultimately they just couldn't balance it. They just could not balance it. And that's how it ends. And it's on to a new generation, and maybe they do come, and I don't know if rebrand is the proper word there, but like the Star Wars saga movies can be something else besides the Skywalker story.
Well, they have to be something else besides the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like, how many times can we see this family go through the same thing over and over and over again? Like, we need new characters. We need new people. We need new ideas. And we don't need Reylo.
We don't. But do I want Rey to be a Skywalker? Yeah. Like, there's a part of me that says, like, wouldn't that be tight?
No, I don't want that.
Wouldn't that be tight?
I'll tell you why I don't want that.
Yeah, okay.
Because I just think that, since I was talking about things that I appreciate about Star Wars and that you can identify... Everybody can identify with some character at some point in these movies. And I think that it's very cool to see that you don't have to come from this special bloodline to be important. You don't have to come from this special bloodline to be talented or to make a change or to do something different. Like, you can literally be a nobody from a family that nobody even knows of. You don't have to be a Skywalker to do these big things.
Yeah.
You just don't have to.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about Star Wars is they can start you out with a farm boy, on Tatooine who has nothing, and ends up, being a legacy, and that's great. So Rey could become that new legacy. Like, who knows, and that's what's cool. So there could be a new line later on. Maybe Rey has
babies
powerful
with
ancestry,
Kylo?
and No, I'm just saying, like, maybe later on down the line, like, something happens. I have no idea, but I'm coming to terms with the fact that this is the end. She's not a Skywalker, and Ben's gonna end up on the dark side in the end. I just don't know how you come back from what he's done. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think you do.
You've had opportunities. You were trained by a master. You failed. Like, you murdered your father. You attempted to murder your mother.
Although, his own words are, you have, what's he say? Let the past go.
Let the past die.
Die. That's right.
Kill it
if you have to. So, they could have been setting us up for his redemption right there when they said that. I hate saying that.
Yeah.
But I don't care. Even if he comes back and redeems himself and saves somebody's life, he still murdered all these people in cold blood. Oh, he's a nice guy who murdered all these people. Yeah. He's a nice guy who manipulated all these people. He's a nice guy who doesn't really seem to have a lot of remorse for what he's done.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
But we still want him to be with Rey.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't
understand. It's very disturbing.
I would rather see a redemption arc there for him with no love interest. I think it's not necessary. I think the redemption can come through his mother. His mother in a hologram or something else could bring him back, but there's no in my opinion, there's no need for a romance between these two characters. If they had not done what they done in The Last Jedi, I would be like, wow, it's really looking like they might get together at the end of this thing. Who knows? But the moment passed. I do not know how else to say it. Are we going to hash this out again and take up more time to resolve this saga dealing with this? I just don't get it.
I'm sorry. I also don't watch Star Wars to have a romance story.
Are you sure? Because that's why I watched Twilight.
No, I said Star Wars.
Oh, sorry. Are we talking about Star Wars?
Wrong podcast.
Okay. All right. You sure?
Positive.
I can talk about Breaking Dawn, at least part 1, because I haven't seen part 2.
I think you
Is
saw
that
part
out
2.
yet?
You just fell asleep during it.
I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
So it's out.
I played it.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe we'll get to that later after this. But
Another musing.
I do feel though there's an awakening right now, and it's great because some of our listeners are coming out of the woodworks and be like, you know what, guys, like this Reylo thing, nah.
It was actually funny because we had this conversation and then we were like, let's record this later.
Yeah.
And then somebody posted in the Rebel Watch
Yeah.
Facebook group something about how
Started the exact conversation.
Yeah, it was the same conversation. He
Yeah.
was like, what did he take? Abusive boyfriend 101?
Yeah.
And I was like, that is 100% accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just this weird fantasy with these two characters for some, and like I said, I see what you're saying in The Force Awakens, and could something have happened? It could have, but not now.
Also,
I just don't know how you
Yeah.
make that work.
I would also like to know why people are so into the Reylo thing. Like, I just don't get it. I just want to know what it is that makes people think that that would be a happy, healthy relationship.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
No, and she's not going to go dark. She's not corruptible. She just isn't. Could she win him back to the light? Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
That's a different conversation.
I'm not saying it's a love interest, but she has that effect to where she has the Luke Skywalker effect. This innate, thought that anyone can be, redeemed, or they can be saved. That's just kind of her naive
maybe,
take.
but there you go, naive take. Don't get that confused with what people are saying. She can come in here and save this person. He needs to be changed. You can change him. No, sometimes you can't. That's just the reality of it. Like you said, reality.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
I mean, she made Luke Skywalker believe.
There were some other things
There
that
at the
play
end.
there, but
There at the end. I mean, yeah, there is, but I don't know. What am I gonna stand? Before the whole First Order, my laser sword.
yeah, but Luke
And he
also
does.
isn't inherently evil like Kylo
No,
is.
but he's dabbled.
But he came back.
Not as much as his nephew.
Right.
Yeah.
Kylo dabbled. He liked it.
Yeah.
He packed his bags and he went there.
Unless Kylo has foreseen something no one else has, and he's that powerful, and there's a plan.
But it doesn't matter because I think that even if you foresee it, if you're choosing the side of evil to carry out this fantasy, or
Wow.
I don't know what you would call it. There should be other ways to handle things.
Yeah, well, he fully admits, when he's talking to Snoke, that he devoted himself fully to the dark side. So, and it's different than Jason Solo in the Legends material, because he ended up going full Sith, but his intentions were to try to find some sort of, to utilize all aspects of the Force to try to bring a balance, a peace to the galaxy, but he ends up failing. But I don't know.
I don't think Kylo has the intention of bringing peace to the galaxy.
No, it doesn't seem like that's his intentions, is it?
I don't think that peace is the right word. I think that he wants to bring something to the galaxy. He wants
But it's not to rule. It does not feel like it's to rule. In no instance is he pulling a Hux and mentioning anything about order or anything. The Resistance, he is dead set on. Well, maybe he does say he's going to destroy it all. I don't know. I don't know.
There it is.
Yeah, it's confusing, but what isn't confusing is Reylo.
Right, we have a solid stance on that.
A solid stance.
And that's a big nope.
It has to be, right? If I'm wrong, I'm going to be extremely embarrassed, but
if I'm wrong, I'm going to be extremely disappointed in
I will
Star
too.
Wars. I'm sorry, I just will be.
I will too.
It will be extremely disturbing.
Yeah, I have to admit, I will too, because
I just think Rey is such a role model for these girls.
Yeah,
We cannot tell them it is okay to get into a relationship like that.
Did this guy treat you like crap? You can change him, honey. Right?
You go get it, girl.
You go change him.
Just be patient with him.
Be patient with him. You can do it. Is he going to force choke you? Yes.
Probably.
But, I mean, just write it out, right?
But just don't.
It's I don't know. It just, I got upset the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Just hearing someone just talk about, be like, but why don't you want it?
But
I have so many reasons why I don't want it.
Mature adults don't get into relationships like that.
That's that. And then that's why I opened up with, I think maybe it's some of it comes from a younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not.
I actually don't know. I would be curious to see the demographics of people who, maybe we should do a poll.
At Celebration, should we take a survey?
Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking scientific data to back up arguments. Yep. I will get us a clipboard.
We're going to put Reylo to rest.
That hashtag put Reylo to rest. That may be trending in the future.
I'm going to do it.
But
put Reylo to rest.
Go around with a clipboard, take a survey. An anonymous survey of 1,000 people at Celebration.
I think 1,000 people is a lot.
We have 5 days.
Okay.
How many is that a day?
Too many.
I'm not good at math. 200 on 5 days? Is that right?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. See, simple math is hard.
That's why you're not in accounting.
We're watching this moment right now. Last Jedi just happens to be on, and there is a hand-touching moment.
I don't think the hand-touching moment is a romance thing. I think
a brother-sister thing?
No, I think the hand-touching moment is the I'm here and you're there. How do we feel like we're around each other? Are you real? Are you tangible? I do not think you should get that confused with them being romantic. I think it's more of a curiosity thing.
She says she felt it. She says she felt the good in him. There was something. There was a connection there.
It doesn't mean it's romance.
I agree.
It just doesn't.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting heated.
Well, I think that's okay. That's why it's on Patreon. It's not that heated. This is absolutely
this is the chillest.
A good, chill discussion that should be available to the world.
The people.
But I'm in my, sleepwear. And the world doesn't need to see this. So they're just going to hear it. And they're going to hear it on Patreon.
And then they're going to tell us what they think.
Yeah. So, I don't know, guys. What do you think about Reylo? Are you sick of it? I'm kind of sick of it.
Absolutely.
Holly's kind of sick of it. And we kind of want it to be put to rest. I think episode 9 needs to be epic. Sans love story.
Absolutely.
So, let us know what you think. And, we'll all find out come December. And maybe there will be teases of Reylo in the next, in the first trailer.
But you can't trust it.
You can't.
They're just showing you.
Yeah, you can't trust the trailers.
What they want.
You're absolutely right.
Ooh, an abrupt stop there. I don't recall ending that abruptly, but abruptly.
Abruptly.
Wow.
Intense.
I mean, I'm actually so happy we went back and revisited that because, A, I forgot that we were starting a Twilight podcast.
Yeah. Yes. What did I say?
To get that going.
Right. Flying casual with the Cullens.
With the Cullens, an explicit podcast. That's part of the subtitle.
After dark.
After hours with the Cullens.
They're vampires, so I guess it would be after dark would be more appropriate.
You're right, because they can't see sunlight. Yes. No,
Well-
that's the perfect title. I don't even want any more discussion about it because it's the perfect title. So
Okay, let's move on.
folks, expect that soon. We've been working on that for I don't know how many months now. Totally forgot
yeah.
we did.
Okay.
Wow.
Whoa.
So you know what's fascinating? I want to go back and listen to more conversations. We're also just going to start recording ourselves at all times.
Oh my god. It will be like keeping up with the Kardashians.
But keeping up with the flying casual folks
Casually keeping up with Holly and Michael.
while flying? I don't know.
Anyway.
We'll work on the title there. The Collins one is totally better. But it's fascinating to get to go back and hear such a really in-depth conversation that we don't have those too often about Star Wars. But I'm so happy we captured that, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I forgot about a lot of the stuff we talked about, but there was so much we didn't know at the time. This was pre-celebration. This was, pre-Palpatine.
Oh yeah.
Pre-Palpatine. It's pre all the publishing, stuff that's been released with the Empire magazine and knowing that Palpatine's coming back and that we see we see Rey and Kylo fighting on what appears to be the Death Star. There's just so much that we've learned since then.
Or we think we've learned. Oof.
Which is why I wanted to revisit Reylo. I think it's safe to say that you and I have not really moved from that end of the spectrum, right?
No.
I'm curious if anyone else has. If Reylo supporters have been like, you know what, it really looks like they're just gonna kind of fight it out epically, or if they're like, you know what, Palpatine's coming back and you didn't see that coming. Well, we did mention it in that recording. We said, unless, something else happened where they'd have to fight, an evil presence together.
And then we said, yeah, there it is.
They could, team up. But I'm wondering if anyone would say, hey, that tells me that this is still a possibility. When in our eyes, it isn't. And in my eyes, at the end of The Last Jedi, still, when that door closed on the Falcon, that was it. When he said, I will destroy her, I will destroy it all, there is no coming back from that, right?
Right.
I don't know how we would come back from that.
You can't come back from it because he's still a child having a tantrum when anybody tells him
fair.
no.
That's fair. And I mean, she did. She whooped him.
Oh, yeah.
Once. Twice. I don't know.
Three times?
3 times. I mean,
is the third?
It could be. This could be the final duel. She could put it to rest, and she could slay him. I don't know.
We said hashtag put Reylo to rest.
Put Reylo to rest. We did. We should have used it then.
I know.
I'm just fascinated by this, and there's still people out there that
are confusing Rey's empathy for romantic feelings.
You want to say that? I agree. I agree.
Said it.
You have people saying, just because they want this ship. Who came up with this crap? Ship. who came up with that? Is that something they were saying at school when you were in school?
No.
We were like, oh, these two should ship and
no, it's not
shipping.
These two don't ship. It's you ship these two.
Oh,
I don't know.
So people are shipping people together.
I don't know where it came from. Somebody, you can tell us where this came from because I don't know, but I do know it's a thing that I saw first on Tumblr. Tumblr said it first.
I think I still have a Tumblr out there, actually.
Oh yeah, me too.
Wow.
Embarrassing.
We should update that.
I don't know.
We'll check it out.
It's like the Wild West on
Is
Tumblr.
It really?
I don't know though. They got bought out by somebody in
I have
Yahoo.
no idea.
I don't know.
Did Zanga buy them out?
No, I don't think so. Nope.
No.
Well, I guess it is a blogging website.
Well.
But anyway, lots of people are blogging about Reylo.
Well, so some people will say, just because I want to ship these people doesn't mean that I agree that, a guy should treat someone like this and they should be okay with it. I don't really actually think that that's a good thing. There's actually an interesting article. I want to send people to look at it, Holly, because it's interesting.
Give them the information.
It's interesting. It's from the Mary Sue. This is the first time I've ever referenced anything here or even read anything from here. So it says, what you ship doesn't make you a bad person or a good one. So it was an interesting read. I don't want to read the whole thing, but one statement here from the article says, what we read, watch, write, or ship doesn't reflect our character. If that were true, Stephen King and George R.R. Martin, that's the Game of Thrones guy, right?
Yeah.
should both be in prison, and every fan of Die Hard would be on a watch list. We enjoy stories because they take us outside of ourselves into adventures we could never have and into the minds of people we could never be. That's art. And while it's important to be critical and thoughtful about how and why we enjoy something, that should never keep you from liking what you like. And it certainly doesn't make you a bad person. Because I think some people are attacking people for liking Reylo, and I don't want to attack anyone.
To me, it just doesn't make any sense for the story, and that's personally, I don't, like I said, months ago, I don't watch Star Wars for the love story. I watch it for epic battles and hero arcs and really cool things. I don't watch it for the love story. Like Leia and Han getting together, for me, I mean, it's great. We have Ben Solo and stuff, but like the relationship didn't work. And it was complicated, I'm sure, but it's just like, to me, that wasn't the interesting
part of Star Wars. And it is for some people, and I totally understand that. But I just thought this was a fascinating article because I've never really, I don't know. I haven't read a whole like in defense of Reylo or in defense of shipper arguments.
So that's the thing, is that you can say, and I agree, you shouldn't judge somebody because they like something unless that thing that they like is dangerous or can hurt somebody else. And I think in this case, Rey is a role model for a lot of girls, and I think that she was set up to be that way. I agree. It is dangerous to take somebody and say, this is a role model, do what she does, be like her, and then have her do something like stick around with somebody who's a mass manipulator stick around in something that in today's society, if this was happening to your friend, you would be extremely worried for their safety.
That's true.
That's the difference to me. You can like what you like. I like Stephen King. I'm from Maine.
Yeah.
But,
let's go. Wait, is he from Maine?
Yeah.
Spoilers for me. Did not know that.
But that doesn't mean that I'm going to read a book about somebody who buries a bunch of pets in their backyard and then does some voodoo magic to bring them back to life and be like, that's a great thing. I'm going to go do that.
But some people do. But I think you're right. You have to look at what the product is, right? It's Rey. And she has been built. I mean, we went to opening night of The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi, and there's little, young girls dressed up as Rey that they idolize her and what she is. And it's the same. To me, Rey and Luke are very comparable. But you're exactly right in that is, she's a role model for those people. And for her to I understand trying to get him to do right and stuff, but to have we're talking a romantic, like, I'm going to be with you for the rest of my life relationship, because that's what Reylo is. Let's not confuse Reylo with, a Ben-demption or a redemption for Ben Solo, and maybe Rey plays some part in that. Those are two different things.
Those are two very different things.
Reylo is Rey and Ben getting together and having a romantic relationship, correct?
That's correct. To my knowledge.
That's my understanding as well. So that is, in my opinion, that would be a very terrible thing.
And here's the thing, back to your comment that you made about you
Twilight.
haven't seen. No.
Oh.
Although you want to talk about weird relationships, okay.
Also,
but still not great.
Yeah.
But back to your comment about you haven't seen a lot of things like in defense of Reylo.
Yeah.
I have never once had someone be like, well, here are all the valid reasons why I want Rey and Kylo to get together. It's never been because it would be a cute, healthy relationship.
No.
It that's never the conversation that's
There's
had.
Something wrong about it, right?
Oh, and it's well, I don't know, it's dangerous, and so that's exciting.
Sometimes.
But not in reality, which I get Star Wars is not supposed to be reality, but I think that kind of relationship is reality for a lot of people, and it's a very bad thing.
Yes. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I don't know. I think you have to look at the material and what purpose that material is serving, and I think things like, I mean, they made reference to Hannibal and Die Hard and things like that. It's like, doesn't mean I'm going to be some serial killer or something like that, and no, it doesn't.
And people say,
really doesn't.
But Michael, you're taking all the fun out of this thing that I really like.
Folks, I watch true crime all the time and am fascinated by it.
That doesn't mean that you're going to go out and murder
a bunch of people.
Exactly,
but it's to me, Rey and Star Wars and what Disney's doing with this character is different. I just think it's different. But the thing is, like, those folks were picking up on things in The Force Awakens, connections that I never would have made, like the way he carried her out, and it was very Shakespearean. And
the way he carried her out. Also, I just have to say,
carried her. I don't know.
That's the first interaction that those two had, and she was unconscious and he kidnapped her.
Yeah, I mean, it's messed up.
That's romantic. That's the kind of relationship that I want to be in. Knock me out and take me away.
Folks, this is why I wanted to talk about Reylo with just Holly and I and listen back to this, because it is something that Holly's passionate about. It's something I'm passionate about. And we have staunchly not moved on at all. And I'm curious to hear what others think, because I think with some of the promotional stuff that's come out, people still you're saying, you know what? Now that Palpatine's back, it makes even more sense for these two to get together. I don't see that happening. I still think that Ben has done terrible things. And I just don't think that he could come back from that and see that, oh God, Palpatine's back. Oh my God, this is not what I intended. I mean, I wanted to rule and bring some balance, but he's doing something crazy. He learned some power out wherever he was, and he's wanting to destroy all of the galaxies. That could happen. But I do not see those two getting together and her being like, you know what? That was really awesome the way you turned on Palpatine there, and I forgive you for killing Han. I forgive you for almost killing your mother and all the terrible things you've done to those villagers and all this and that. And you know what? I understand. Did Luke Skywalker commit mass, murder? He did. He did, to prevent mass murder. But so everyone's done terrible things in Star Wars. I understand that, but I just do not see that being a forgivable thing in Ben's or in Rey's eyes. And it was something else that's interesting. There is, let me find this really quick. We have an excerpt from a new Star Wars novel coming out, Resistance Reborn. And I thought this was kind of fascinating. What this book does is it picks up right at the end of The Last Jedi. Where is it? Oh, let's see. So they're on the ship. Rey and Leia and Poe and all of them are on the ship, and so the guy's just like, oh my God, what are we gonna do now? And Rey goes over to talk to Leia, and Leia thinks like she may be coming over to talk about Luke a little more, and but she doesn't. And she says, Kylo Ren, he's your son. Leia nodded and drank from her now cooling cup. Rey squirmed uncomfortably in her seat. What happened to him? She finally asked. I mean, how did he turn to the dark side? He started in the light, didn't he? He told me a story about Luke, about his training, she exhaled. I guess I just want to understand. I do too. So you don't know? I think you would have to ask Ben what happened to him. He wanted me to join him, but I couldn't. I thought I could help him, but he only wanted me to become like him. Rey's face fell, and Leia could see the pain etched there. The girl cared about Ben, and he had disappointed her. Ben has made his choices, Leia said. No one can save Ben but himself, and I don't know if that is what he wants. Rey nodded, a sharp dip of her chin. I know that. I mean, rationally I know, but I guess I held out hope. Leia says, Hope is good.
Her voice gentle with understanding. Hope is important, and sometimes it is all we have. But she said, smiling, what does hope have to do with being rational? She held out her hand, and Rey leaned forward and took it, pressing her palm to Leia's and squeezing. I don't know how I'm going to do this, Rey whispered quietly. But you will do it, Leia said, her voice a little louder, filled with a little more steel. And you won't be alone. We'll be here with you.
I just kind of thought that was a really interesting conversation. I know it doesn't tell us a whole lot.
But does it?
But it kind of does. I mean, Rey, here's the thing. When like I said, when I saw the door closing on the Falcon, I was like, done. That girl is pissed.
And she should be.
I
liked, it says, the girl cared about Ben, and he had disappointed her. Note the use of the word care.
Cared, yeah.
Cared. She cared. She's empathetic. She is a good person. She wants to help people to the best of her ability. Yeah. She couldn't help him.
And that's the thing. I think the empathy and the understanding is that she doesn't know anyone else out there that has force powers. She meets this kid that's around her age that's troubled. Like she always is looking for the good in people, just like Luke Skywalker. Well, sometimes. But so to me, that that wasn't so much a romance there. And I know there's footage and there's the Last Jedi novelization that kind of hint that, Luke saying, like, you're just looking at it like but maybe he didn't understand that. And that's the thing. Luke didn't understand that connection. Luke, he met Obi-Wan, and he didn't, Obi-Wan kind of stuck with him a little, and he learned some things from him. But, like, I feel like they're the way they were exposed to the Force and their experience was very different. So I don't even think Luke understood that moment. So when he says, "Oh, you're just interested in a set of pretty," he doesn't know what she's going through. He has no idea. Their experiences to me are different.
Yeah.
So I think that moment isn't so much romantic. It's just wow, someone I can actually talk to about this and may understand this, that he's gone through this. He had, he dealt with his uncle and then maybe he just doesn't understand what he's feeling. And there's some manipulation in there too. And I think she maybe maybe this guy will be honest with me about this. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, she's hopeful, and that's clear in this excerpt. But I just feel like those are they're different moments. And now thinking like Luke didn't even understand that moment, it just makes even more sense to me. Like, he said that because he doesn't understand what she's going through. Because their experiences are different. She doesn't know who her family is. She doesn't. He did have somewhat of a family. So I don't know. It's interesting, and I think their interaction here is fascinating, because to me it kind of seems like Leia's kind of given up, after the confrontation with Luke and him trying to cut him down and all of that, and Luke passes, and she's lost her husband.
I was gonna say, not to mention like Kylo also cut Han down.
He did,
and
exactly.
That was a big thing.
She felt that. Exactly. Like, I think she feels like he's gone, but she knows, Rey has that hope, and that's what it took to defeat the Empire the first time. Or actually, many times.
Which time?
So that's what it took, and she knows that Leia's going to need that, or Leia knows that Rey's going to need that hope in order to continue on, and that they're going to back her there. And it's fascinating. I love that they're going to, have these conversations more. I hope they are. I know this book's going to be a lot about Poe and his rise, so you'll probably see a lot of conversations there with Leia, and it's great that they're going to take these novels and really kind of flesh that out, because we're not going to get a lot of Leia in this movie. So it's going to be great to kind of hear her perspective from these novels. So that's going to be a must read when it comes out here in a couple months or a month or whatever it is. But
do we know when is it coming out? We might not know. We can find that out.
No idea.
I don't think.
But it's definitely pretty soon.
Yeah, I don't.
November 5th.
There we go. So in a few weeks.
Yep. So
in a few weeks.
That feels like it's going to be a must read beforehand. There's also a comic book, The Rise of Kylo Ren, coming out that is also supposed to be a must read. We're going to learn what happened to Kylo weeks before The Rise of Skywalker. So we're definitely going to take that. We're going to dissect it. We're going to chew it up. We're going to talk about it beforehand and get excited for The Rise of Skywalker. But
I guess I need to get into some comics.
Well, you're going to be a part of that conversation, so you're going to have to.
I don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice.
Okay.
But I want to know what everyone thinks. Obviously, Holly and I really haven't moved far from where we were, several months ago. But maybe you guys haven't. Maybe there's, reasons we're not even thinking about there. But I don't know. I knew this would be a fantastic conversation. I knew it was something that we were passionate about. And I think people still are. The Reylo interest has faded a little bit. There's not as much online. But people have made some noise. And the fact that Palpatine's back really, is a game changer. That I did not see coming. I really thought, Kylo was going to be that big baddie. And it was going to, if he was going to be redeemed at the end, it would be in his death, and there wouldn't be a whole lot of forgiveness there. And
I don't know if, I don't know. Just something about the excerpt that you just read where Leia said, Ben has made his choices. No one can save Ben but himself. And I don't know if that's what he wants. It kind of leaves the door open.
A little bit.
Maybe.
She doesn't know. I mean, she dang sure probably thinks he doesn't.
I don't know. But then you get this other, as you say, big baddie coming in.
Exactly. That's it. They could be a game changer. His father couldn't save him. His uncle couldn't save him. Rey couldn't there in that moment. Could she? Her role is going to be limited, but could she play a big factor in there? I always thought she would. But, now that Palpatine's back, there could be something else going on that we don't quite understand. I even think, though, there could be a possibility that Palpatine was manipulating Anakin, well, obviously, manipulating Ben the whole
Spoiler.
time. Well, yeah, if you haven't seen Star Wars, I'm really sorry about that.
What are you doing here?
What am I doing here? This is Twilight.
And we're the Cullens.
We're the Cullens. Well, I am pretty pale, so I'm already off to a good start.
Perfect.
But yeah, that him coming back, I always kind of thought, now I kind of think that there's a possibility that he's been manipulating Ben the whole time. And now that he needed Snoke to be gone, Snoke kind of rose, in a moment where there was no big baddies. And now that Snoke's gone, Palpatine's rising. And it kind of feels like Palpatine's using Ben.
Yeah.
To get his power back.
Well, and I think that kind of makes sense because you can kind of take the stance like in nurture or nature, I guess, if you want to go there, that like some people are bad people and Ben could have been born a bad person, but you also have to learn that kind of manipulation from somewhere, and I don't think that he necessarily learned it from Han or Leia. So where did he get that good at doing those things?
Yeah. That's why I think this comic is going to be fascinating because we saw a little bit in the one issue with Kylo and Snoke and a little bit of that training, which was super fascinating. But I am super interested in what's happened before all that. What really led Kylo to turn. So there's so many, I don't know, there's way too much to talk about.
This was supposed to be a Reylo focus, and I know we're talking a little bit about bringing Palpatine in, but it could change things, Kylo could be like, I didn't sign up for this. I'm going to go help the Resistance. Or, maybe he's been with the Palpatine all along. Maybe Palpatine comes back and Kylo is anticipating him being, his apprentice, and he's like, I'm done with you incapable Skywalkers.
I mean, there was a
this
promise.
Skywalker is going to rise, and it's going to be Rey, and he thinks he could turn her or something. I don't know.
He just used Ben to get Snoke out of the way.
That's possible. Or it could be like Scotty says, and there's another Anakin clone out there, and that's the Skywalker that's rising. I don't know. It's all fascinating. This is why it was almost genius bringing Palpatine back. The contingency plan, all of that could have mattered, and there could be, like Brent said, there could be Thrawn and Ezra out there, and they come back and they save the day, and that would be freaking epic. Or it could be Palpatine coming back, and he's been manipulating Ben all along, and he just needed Snoke to be cut down in order to rise, and he's the actual Skywalker that's rising, and he's like, I created you, Anakin. I created you, Rey. They could be all these different things.
Are you writing the movie?
They did tell me I wasn't allowed to say that, so
edit that out.
I edit this one out in post again. But that's almost the genius of bringing Palpatine back, and just this secrecy of J.J. Abrams. It's keeping everyone guessing. Like at least I thought I had an idea where this sequel was going. At least the last installment of it.
You were
and
wrong.
I won't be close. I guarantee it. And I already know that I am wrong. So it's gonna be fascinating. But we definitely know where we stand on Reylo. But Ben-demption, I think, could be a thing. Correct? All right. That may be where we differ, but we'll have to save that conversation for another day. Guys, but I really hope you enjoyed that. I just listening to it live, and we haven't listened to it since we recorded it, was fascinating. Just kind of hearing ourselves and how much we cared about it was awesome, and how passionate we still are about it. And it's just a simple discussion, but it really took us places that I never imagined we would go. So I hope you guys leave your comments about it too, and let us know what you thought of it. What are your Reylo theories? Have they changed? Are you sticking to your guns just like us?
And if you are a Reylo supporter,
come on,
please tell me why.
Yes, and leave a voicemail. Send an email. You can send us an email at flyingcasualcast@gmail.com. And like we just did with Brent, so we'll read it live on the show and try to dissect it as much as possible. And we're going to get more perspectives in here. We're going to have our monthly special guests, and Luke's going to be back, and it's going to be awesome. So there's going to be so many more perspectives. So send those in. You can also send a voicemail everyone loves to, hear themselves, on the air. And I love that so much too. It allows me to know kind of what I'm dealing with and, where that perspective's coming from, because you can tell when people get passionate about things and just hear that love for Star Wars. It really comes out.
And then I don't have to pronounce things wrong.
Exactly. We don't have to try to read it and mispronounce things. So you can send a voicemail to 614-398-2119. And guys, I really appreciate you, taking a listen. It's always a pleasure to be flying casual here with Holly, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. So send us your messages, join that Facebook group, send us a voicemail. We'll talk about it here live. See you next time. May the Force be with you.